In this video, I'm going to show you the new page builder. It is under custom pages in your app customizer. When you click on add new page, you'll see a new icon here for page builder. Now this is a big improvement over the other page types that we've had, such as custom HTML. And the big improvement is that you can edit these pages after they're already installed on the device. You don't need a rebuild to see the changes. And it is a block-based visual editor that's going to make it a lot easier to put your pages together. So just a quick note, if you're an existing customer, you will need to rebuild your app before you're able to use this, just to make sure that those code changes that we added get into your app files. And the apps that are already installed on devices, those are going to need to be rebuilt and reinstalled. But once you do that the first time, then you won't need to do it again. If you're just a new customer and you just signed up, you don't need to worry about that. So clicking in the page builder, you'll see that there are just a few fields here. So we go ahead and give this a field. We'll call it block page, and then we can click add block to add a new block. So what you'll see when you click on add block is that we have some components in here, and these are a lot of the same components that you can use in the custom HTML pages if you're familiar with those. But basically it's a lot of the functionality that we offer, and it's easy to use. So for example, if you wanted to add a login toolbar, which is just a bar at the top of the page that when you click it, it shows the login modal, you can go ahead and click on that, and then it will be added to your page. There are no options for some of the blocks, such as this one, so it won't expand, but what you can do then is add another block. So let's say we wanted to add some custom content. You can do that with the custom content block. And this will allow you to add any HTML or static ionic tags, which you may be familiar with from our custom HTML pages. You can't do anything that dynamic, like adding a button that does something when you click it, or adding a like JavaScript, or anything that pulls from an API, or nothing interactive. This is just for layouts. So for example, if I wanted to add a title here, I could say add a title for my page. And if I wanted to put it inside of like an Ion card, if you're familiar with Ionic UI components, you can use those here. And then I'm going to leave that. You can also add images by clicking on the add media. You can embed like a Google map or a YouTube video or anything in here. And then one of the cool things about the block editor or the page builder is that you can move stuff around pretty easily. So it's drag and drop. So the next thing I'm going to try out is the WordPress post list. This is going to pull blog posts from your site. So you want to add your API route, and that's going to add your website URL, and then your posts. And you can check out our documentation if you need help with that. Then you can choose some of these other options here. And like, for example, if I want to make it infinite scroll, then I can do that. And then I can look at some more blocks and add these. It's important to note that some of these require setup. For example, the podcasts and media block will not work unless you have already set up your a list of posts that have a media URL in them. And so you can check out our documentation for help on that. To view our documentation, you can just search basically for page builder. If you click the little, let me bring that up into view here. Click this little search icon here, and then you can basically just search for page builder and click on page builder. You'll see that there's a tutorial video here. It has some information, and then at the bottom is all the available blocks and then information on how to set those up. So for example, you see we have podcasts and media, and then it says requires setup, see this article. So you can click that and make sure that you've done everything in the setup to make sure that this is going to work correctly for you. By the way, we will have a little link, like if there should be a help link up here. It'll be one of these two links that you can click, and it should go right to this page builder overview document. So other blocks, such as like segmented push notifications, that will only work if you have that on your account. That's not available in all accounts. WordPress downloads will only show up if you've actually added buttons on your WordPress page that download stuff. Language settings only work if you have translations set up. In-app purchases only work for accounts with in-app purchases that have those already set up. So just know that you can't just add these blocks to your page and it'll do something else, this is just kind of displaying the things that you've already set up on your account. But a lot of the other ones do work with no setup, such as like this card is just a visual element that will display, an image and a title in this nice card. And then you can add like a post slider with no setup, WordPress product or WooCommerce products. As long as you have WooCommerce set up, that will go ahead and add that there. So you'll see when you add a block that you do have some options. So you can add in like URL parameters to filter what type of products you're displaying and other options. And then you can collapse these if you want by clicking on this toolbar, and you can move them around. You can add and remove layouts by clicking these plus buttons. So for example, I can remove that there, and then that's how you move these around. So the cool part about this is I'm going to be able to preview this without rebuilding, and I'm going to show you how that works. So first I'm going to add it to my menu. Pages do not show up in your app unless they are in your menu. So you want to make sure you add it to your menu, and then you can choose an icon. There's a big list. These are all Ion icons, which you can find at ionicons.com, or you can just sort through our list here, and you can actually click on you can click on a letter on your keyboard if you want to skip down. So for example, I'm going to try this one out. It should show me a little preview right here. Sometimes it takes a second to show up, and then I'm going to save that. So then what that's doing is it's going to add that page to my menu, and then it's going to show up in my app preview. So you'll see now that my app preview has refreshed, I can click on that, and we'll see that I have this login toolbar I added. I have this custom HTML content that I added, and then I have my list of WordPress posts that I also added in there now. The great part about this is once you've got this onto an app with our newest code base in there, like I mentioned, then you can actually make changes to this and they will show up on the device without having to rebuild the app. So with our other page types, such as a custom HTML page, these are actually embedded in the app, and so you do need to rebuild the app when you make changes there. So the page builder is a huge improvement because I can go in and make a change to this. Like, well, let's make a change on this block page. Let's remove this Ion card because it actually ended up looking kind of weird. And then we'll update that. And then the preview is going to refresh for me. And then you'll see now that this title looks better because I removed that Ion card tag around it. But you'll see that happened instantly and I didn't have to rebuild or anything. So one note, if you are testing this on a device and you're not seeing your changes, go over to the Build and Preview tab, click Publish Changes, and then close and reopen the app on the device, and then that should show up for you. Keep in mind that when you press Publish Changes, the changes go out to all the apps that are installed on the App Store on any device. So don't do that if you're just testing stuff, but if you're ready for your changes to go out to everybody, then you can go ahead and do that. So that is the page builder, and if you need help or if you want to look up what some of the blocks do, check it out in our documentation, and we will be adding more blocks and making updates to these as we go, so have fun with it.